Yeah.
So you weren't a legit actor until you can say, "Oh yeah, I just hopped off a flight from Vancouver, was just shooting. Was there for a week."
Doing the actor thing in Vancouver. What can I say?
Yeah, bro. How
Hence
was it?
that.
You just touched down.
I did. Like an hour ago, got in at 7, and I was thinking about calling off the old podcast, but it's like, you know what? We don't. I respect being able to talk our creative stuff like as we're doing it, like in the throes.
Fuck yeah. I mean, I expect you to do it on set, but that's the story.
I dropped the ball there. I
Yeah.
totally could have. You're so right. I didn't have my computer though. That was the difference. Kind of probably could have figured it out on my phone. Nonetheless, here
Next,
we are. We're going. I'm eating my food
bro,
like
I
you.
actually feel like in the future we are going to be doing remotes like that. Like it's going to be great. We'll be doing it. We'll be talking to other actors on the set and shit. It's going to be cool.
That is a good look. I agree. I always like that when other people do that too.
Yeah.
That being said, yeah, sorry, I'm just finishing up my food. I know we've gotten a lot of comments lately from people being like, I tune in to see Duke scarfing down a sandwich.
Well, they scarf down theirs while they watch you do yours. So it's like symbiotic.
Fresh,
Bro,
how are you doing?
I'm great, man. We'll get to me in a second, but you were there for what, like a week?
Yeah. Yeah, like a total week.
And I
Yep.
mean, tell me everything.
Mhm.
What surprised you about the experience that you weren't expecting? Who did you meet? That was kind of cool. What was it
Mhm.
like?
One sec.
And how is it different from your lower budget
Hmm.
Fatal Fix
Well,
Creeper?
when they pitched me the movie, they told me, Duke, we know you've done the Fatal Fixture Upper. Now picture that, but in a fire suit.
That was their pitch, huh? Offer.
Yeah, yeah. They came to me said they said Dookie, baby.
Yeah, offer only.
Offer only. We want you to stalk people, live in their house, but as a firefighter.
Bro, those pictures look legit. Like
Thanks,
the
man.
firefighter thing. That was sick. You with the little girl like rescuing her and shit. That was cool.
The stunt double, that wasn't even the little girl. It was like it was a little person.
What were
That
you
was,
doing with her?
oh, you don't need
Throwing
to
her
know.
around, tossing off of a bridge.
Yeah, we were getting like a rag doll. No, that was epic, man. So you saw the Instagram photos, which I was fortunate enough. Normally, you don't really take behind the scenes photos, but my uncle Jimmy was there. He was also in the film, and nepotism
Did
at
he
its
get you
finest.
the gig?
What's that?
Did he get you the gig?
He's friends with the director,
Cool.
and how the movie came to be for me was originally he was like, Duke, you never believe this. They're doing a movie, and they can't find someone to play the lead. So it's perfect casting for you. It's just, they kind of need a star. And but maybe you just audition and talk to the director about the movie and see what happens. I was like, fair enough. So I did it. And then he said, the classic bait and switch. He's like, can't use you for the lead because we just need a big name, someone who's done it before. And it's like a very high production movie. So it's like a tall task, I guess. But we were supposed to have like a Canadian person that was going to shoot, local from there, play this one part of the best friend. And I think you could do that, re-audition for that. So I did. Um, Relatively like on the page, there wasn't that much there necessarily, honestly. I didn't think. 3 scenes total, 2 of them being like pretty big action sequences.
So more like action. It wasn't really dialogue heavy.
One scene, the opening of the film, which is big that I'm in the opening, is it opens on me and we're bantering back and forth in a fire truck because we're firefighters about to go into the fire. And then
Firefighters do.
yes, as they do. And then the second and third scene are crazy. The second scene is us getting out of the fire truck, going into the fire, getting orders from the captain. That's what like I think a lot of the good photos came from. It's like wild. Us like
Yeah.
running out, getting crowbar, running into this whole fire. I mean, talk about the opposite of my Lifetime movie. We shot 2 pages in an entire day, a day and change. Like we started on the next day as well. We got it from every which way, and every time they move the cameras around, it takes like 30 minutes in your trailer.
And right. And you went into like a burning building, like they had a whole set.
Um, no, no.
You were like getting ready for the thing. You were pulling the materials. You were like getting ready.
Yeah, they had the set. The set, what it ends up being. Maybe if I said burning building before, I misspoke. It's a car.
Okay.
Car that is on fire, and there's like a giant 18-wheeler leaning down on it. There's been a huge accident.
Holy shit! And they had all that set
It
up,
had all that set up. And
bro. What like
it's
what
one of
was
the most
the budget for?
intimidating things seeing because all like even the lead actor is like he was like, I want to make sure that that 18-wheeler is like supported perfectly to a T. Because this is like
Yeah.
very daunting.
Oh
Yeah.
fuck.
And
That-
he like asked for proof and stuff, which I totally understood. I was like, thank you for saying what I'm too nervous to say.
yeah, yeah. Give yourself a few years and
Yeah, then I could
you
make
know.
some bigger
Yeah.
demands. And so that was that where they show us go in, save a couple people, bring the little girl out. That's the one picture of me like running with a little person. That was a stunt double. And honestly, that was like my first like stunts too. I didn't really want to do them. I told them at a certain point, it was like getting closer and closer for me doing actual stunts where I was like, and I think we should be able to talk about this stuff for real. Like people were like, oh, you gotta just say the good stuff about this movie. And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of great stuff. There's a great opportunity, but people know that movie sets are crazy and a lot of stuff happens. And I think we
I'm
should
guilty of that too. I'm guilty of having sets that are not as safe as they could be.
was comfortable. No, fair. And like, and honestly, yeah, I don't know if we have to tell like the whole truth always here,
No, no,
but
no. And
I do.
bro, like let me save you too. Like we don't need specifics.
No. But I'm just setting a
Yeah.
precedent too for this. I want people to be able to hear like what it's like making movies and things too. So like I'm going to pride this on being pretty candid. And I think if eventually this gets big, people will want to do our podcast knowing that they could get really candid about stuff. It's great. About the movie industry. Talk about real stuff. That being said, I'm not going to tell any of the real stuff. But no, I mean, as far as like safety stuff, like it's funny, like as an actor learning that line because they ask you stuff in the moment of like, hey, you're gonna have to shatter this glass window and it's fake glass, so you'll be fine. And the stunt supervisor's there and everything. But I'm like, dude, even if it's fake glass, you can like spray you in the eye. If we have doubles, like I'd rather not do it. Like I've just heard of too many people, celebrities, kids, and everything, like doing things on movie sets because they're trying to prove stuff and they die. They just die. And like I'm not trying to be statistic. I know it's a bad industry. It's not like, oh, just
Bro,
that's
people, I mean, I heard of the one like the Alec Baldwin situation, but there have been like deaths. Like that's
yeah.
like death.
People die all the time doing stunts. Um, accidents happen because film sets are there's a lot of heavy machinery and things move really quickly, and everyone just wants to be a yes person because that's good for the
And
most
it's so the
part.
industry's so competitive. You don't want to be seen. That's why you speaking up about an 18-wheeler, it's like that's a hard call.
Dude, it really is. And I mean, I see why it's tough for like young actors too, trying to figure out like if they can ask for another take. It's because you get such a bad look if you're one of those guys. So
Yeah.
it's tough to thread that needle. But with that said, everyone's got to figure that out for themselves. And it's just good to talk about it. I think being kind of conscious about it, but then also try to be good to work with. So, yeah, there's like a point where like on the glass thing, I was like, well, hey, I don't want to be a burden, but I'd rather not do this thing. And they're like, well, they kind of look at each other way too indecisively and are like, we don't have a stunt guy for you. I'm like,
And you said that to like the director or who?
tell me. No, this is the stunt supervisor and someone else talking. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, guys, you got to think about this stuff beforehand. Just like, it's like one of those, dude, in all businesses, like, you don't want to be called out. You want to get in front of the story. Like, tell me up front, hey, Duke, we don't have a stunt guy for you. Here are
Right.
your options.
Right. So you know going.
Yeah, or just so we
Yeah.
could figure something out. Like, that being said, this was nothing, so I see where they're coming from. But um anyway, so that was the second scene, and it looked really cool, and people were raving about the performance, if I do say so myself. Like, they kept saying, like, they got all these crazy angles and stuff, and they're like, oh, Duke, your veins are popping from your forehead, and you're just like so intense. Like, it was just like crazy. And I'm like, the funny thing is,
Way of an actor. It comes naturally.
yes, when you're an actor, what can I say? You know, this is gonna sound so snobby, but hey, we're being real. My family told me early on, and I've since really see it come to action. It's a bigger message than just what they said, but they're like, their whole thing is, what do they know? Sometimes the crew is like the best compliments to get from because they've seen everything and they're in
Yeah.
your face and everyone's really watching. So if they give you a compliment, it's like, wow, you really earned it. But then again, I think at the end of the day, people are just people in general. Like, I had a conversation with my parents of, like, when I got reviews for the Lifetime movie, I'm like, hey, the bad isn't that big of a deal. The good's not that big of a deal either. When you get a rave review, it feels nice, but you got to know how you do.
Affect you. Yeah. Because otherwise,
Sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you're wrong. Like, you think, hey, that just felt so real or funny or scary, whatever. And but it didn't end up playing how it was intended to. And then vice versa. Sometimes it feels horrible and it came off great. Um,
right.
but at the end of the day, you can't be so subjective to other people.
You can just try your best every time, right? And just that's your North Star. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, man, like, this happens every time with everything I do. It's like I'll make something and it'll have the best intentions, but for whatever reason, an audience doesn't connect. Or I'll just throw something together, whatever, let me do, and then an audience fucking loves it.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's also part of the fun of it too. You know what I mean? Like, you never know really what's gonna hit.
You probably get a bit stronger with that too, just the kind of mental component of knowing that, like, hey, you just got to keep on shooting.
Just keep going. Yeah, yeah. And
Uh,
also get too discouraged if you get too many if you don't get a lot, and like, not to bring it to me, but real quick, I've had no success on YouTube for like a steady like year. Like, it's been like a solid year of making stuff, putting it out there, getting like 1,000 views for everything. And then I just dropped something like a couple weeks ago and it's at like 150K or something. And that's one of those that I didn't expect. You know what I mean? And like, it's just an example of, you got to keep fucking going, keep going, keep going. And it's
was
never,
it, may I ask, was it the MoMA one?
yeah, it was.
What? All right, so not, dude, you were pretty hyped to have that mask and everything now.
Yeah, yeah. I thought it would work, but again, like, you never know, you know?
Right.
Yeah. But bro, I think that the shoot was that the biggest budgeted thing you've done?
Yeah, for sure.
That's huge, bro. What was it like working with, did you get to talk to name talent? And like,
Oh, yeah.
recognizable?
Wait, so by the way, sorry to like go on and on, but I'll tell you, the third scene too was equally crazy, but with the main character, he's dying. The main character is played by Brandon Routh, who, speaking of name talent, is he was Superman. Uh, Now he was on Chuck. He was in Scott Pilgrim Saves the World. Michael Cera, big actor, and really good actor, by the way, too. I've started like, do you mind turning that down, boy? I'm sorry.
What?
Do you mind turning that down a little bit?
Oh shit, my bad.
No.
I get a baseball on storm.
I should
Good
move
stuff.
rooms, but
No, I love it. I didn't even notice him over your right shoulder. What's up, dude?
Uh,
hey,
Autumn's
Yeah, no.
round two. But yeah, so you got to talk to like name talent, and what was that
So
like?
Brandon, the main actor, he had this one moment in particular where we were doing the scene and our captain tells us something, and then we were just gonna like go along and like go do the order. He's like, Duke, let's have this moment where he talks to us, he says that, we look at each other just like, I don't know if we're gonna listen to that. And then we go and do it. He just created that on the spot. And it was just like, I was like, shit, he's good, man. He's good. He's making life out of things where like I just hadn't thought it through enough.
Right.
So that was again more just like learn something for me to learn that like, dude, look for the life, look for the moments. How do you make something better? How do you make it more tasteful? And so that was cool already. And then in the end, the director hooked me up with like a huge line. He added a line to my thing. He's like, Duke, I'm gonna make it so that your line is what tells the audience the whole crux of the story. You're gonna be the person that drops the twist on everyone.
So why he like wrote this in, or was this someone else's line?
On the fly, he wrote it in because he didn't think that it was clear enough to people to twist. And he's like, we're gonna have this option. Like
That's wild to have that mind where you're like, there's so many pieces of the puzzle. He's thinking about shots, he's thinking about performances, to also be thinking about story when time is going on and budget and all that stuff. That's impressive, man. If he's able to be like, okay, you're the character who's got to say this because of this, that's like another level.
I guess, but dude, taking an entire day to do 2 pages. Like you have time to think about the story,
True. Also,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, like you're doing these shots over and
Two
over.
pages in a day would be really nice. I would love to do 2 pages in a day.
Like we're really getting time to like hone in and work on this stuff, which is pretty luxurious too. And I kept having to pinch myself, being like if I was a kid and I saw an 18-wheeler tipped on top of a car, burning car, and I was in fire clothes and getting to play the scene and stuff, I'd be like, dude, this would be the funnest thing to play on ever, just to work on. And so yeah, I kept having to kind of pinch myself. But
that's great you have that perspective because it is fucking cool. It's really cool.
just like objectively pretty unique. Yeah, to have like a bunch of lines in that and like
in Vancouver.
In Canada, you get treated like a star. Like it's
Is
just
that
like
your first time in Canada?
it was.
Yeah, it's cool,
Never
right?
back. Never going back.
Yeah. All right.
I loved it. I'll tell you about it in a second. Wait, so last thing about the third scene. So he adds that line. And the line was kind of rough, honestly. Like it just didn't make that much sense that I
Remember
would.
the line?
Yeah, I do. I don't want to give it away though.
Okay, yeah. Well, it's the key turning point, right?
Exactly. But it's something to do with like it's this kind of a sci-fi movie, like supernatural. And I say something that kind of like makes the audience think like, oh wait, that was happening. And the way that I say it though is like it's just me being a little bit like I thought originally it was like distasteful in that moment. I'm just like, what? Like, how doesn't that make me sound like a dick? But I talked to Jimmy about it. I talked to a few people about it. And I figured out just how to play it that it would make sense. And Jimmy kept being like, well, you just gotta be in the circumstances, and if you are, it'll come out right in the moment. And I'm just like, dude, don't try to like one up actor me right now. Just like, come on,
Don't you know
please.
about circumstances, Duke?
I know. What would
Bro, you got to stay in the moment. You got to listen. You got to listen to your.
exactly that it would really come to you? And I'm like, dude, maybe if you're like in the middle of like a very elaborate long scene where you're doing a lot of things and you're so caught up in the moment. But like I had one line in that final spot and it comes out of nowhere onto a close-up right on me. I'm looking at just a dead body and I have to say something that's like really absurd. And I have to be so caught up in that moment with the camera right on me. And all this technical stuff is happening too. I'm supposed to say it. This new line, mind you, that he told me 20 minutes before.
Yeah.
While the camera's panning across, by the way, too. So I have to feel the camera coming in. And after the first shot, my note, they were like, can you wait a little longer? Can you wait for the camera to like come right up on you? I'm just like, dude, I'm supposed to like not be looking at the camera.
Bro, that shit's so funny because it's all like they're just worried about the technical, like ooh, the
Yeah.
visual, like pans
Yeah.
across and then ooh, lands, and it's probably like zooming in closer and tighter on you, and then you say it, yeah.
Exactly. It was so wild. And at the end of the day, I've kind of learned, aside from feeling it, I think my takeaway is no matter what the line is, as long as you sort of like whisper it to yourself, just kind of like reflectively, you can kind of say whatever the heck you want and get away with it. And it seems very thoughtful and sincere. Like
So you
the
just
line is
whisper
something. So I ended up just being like, his dead body's there, and I say
don't
something,
say
and
the
it's
line, don't say
like,
the line.
I know I'm not gonna say the actual line, but it's in the vein of like, damn man, I really thought this was gonna go better, or something like that. And like that would be so dick ordinarily to like say that to a dead person. But just as long as it was to myself, I'm like, damn, I really thought that was gonna go better. And like honestly,
Like
it was a
this
little bit
tight on
and
you.
it was so tight. But like I literally had the thought to myself. It is from that school of acting, that acting John Roosevelt. They're like they say like do thoughts, like if you think a thought, even if you like forcefully make yourself think a thought, it'll play. And Hugh Grant does the same thing. He writes down what are the thoughts the character's having. Like even if you were to not know what the next line is going to be, well, what would your character think about what they just said? So you could come up with a new line. Bottom line, I thought to myself in that moment, when I say like the kind of dickish thing, I said it in an inflection with the thought of, is there something I'm missing? So like instead of being like, oh damn, dude, I thought it'd be better. I ended up saying like, oh damn, I thought it'd be better. Like in a way that's like why is this happening? So like it's not as uh entitled and more just curious.
Hmm.
Nonetheless, this is the mind of a performer, my friends.
Of a true actor.
Yes, yes. Uh, anyway, bro. So big learning experience. Super fun. It's funny how everything especially these talkie scenes, really take on a different shape from when you're going over them in your head to like being on the spot the day of, and like even my very talky scene, the opening of like the whole movie, we did that last. And it's just like initially, yeah, it was supposed to be them sort of like bitching me out and everything and kind of like making me a chump. But I thought I was gonna come off kind of cooler. In the moment when I was with these like giant stunt guys who were playing the firemen, they're all like massive human beings. I'm by far the youngest and the smallest, definitely the skinniest. And when they said these things, I was just kind of like sitting there, just like, what the fuck? Like, I hope I didn't end up coming off like too big of a pussy, but is what it is. I think it played.
Dude, I can't wait to see it. Is like distribution locked? Do you know anything about how it's going to be released?
No, I saw it was on Deadline. They said they're selling it at Cannes, foreign, and they don't have domestic distribution yet.
But they got foreign.
Yeah.
Bro, that's cool. You're going to be played
I'm gonna be
Bill.
big in Slovakia.
That's it. That's it. Number one. Dude,
Number-
acting though, like, and I've just been going with your
Yeah.
like circumstance, like, yeah, just like think of like if you're in this situation, like that's literally all I'm doing. And it's so easy, bro. Like it's so fucking easy.
There's nothing to it when it makes sense like that.
Dude, literally, like for the Momo one, it was just me. It was me like playing the creature and also playing the protagonist. And I have another one I'm gonna drop tomorrow that's like first was Momo in the shower, and now it's Momo in the bathtub.
Like into acting.
Bro, like it's literally, and it's not just like acting, like I have a camera and like I've focused the whole camera and then I like start recording it and I'm moving the camera along as I'm like staying in it. It's like not that hard, bro. Like it's just you stay focused. Yeah, you're like
Yeah, exactly. Focus on the circumstance. Dude, wait, you just made me think of too. This is a good reminder. Like I literally take 3 or 4 in. When I had to do these scenes, the only thing I'm telling myself right before is I'm like, do an impression of the circumstances. So like so I'm thinking to myself, okay, I'm just gonna bring it to life. What just happened? We just came out of the car, burning car with all these people. My partner's screwed. He like lost his leg or so he's right there. So I gotta feel that. Just do your best impression of it. Like, what would that feel like? It's as simple as asking myself beforehand, what would that feel like? And just trying, as long as I'm like trying my best to get into that feeling, it's gonna be great for the most part.
Yeah.
And I didn't even used to know how to do that. So that's the first thing. And then I'm like, okay, I start asking myself questions. What would I expect is gonna happen? That's another like good tool thing to use, like questions, like what would I expect is gonna happen? Is my partner gonna live? Is he gonna die? What do I think about these other people? Where are the people set up? Would I be looking at them normally? Am I just freaking out on myself? Am I pissed about something? All these little questions that I'm asking myself get me deeper and deeper into the circumstances.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, even after all that, it could look like shit anyway, but at least I think
Sure.
that's the starting point though. Yeah.
For sure, but most bad acting is just like it's like a lack of focus, right? Or like you're focusing on the wrong shit. It's just think about like what you're doing, like where you are, like what you're thinking about. Like I'm pretending like a creature is over there, so I'm like, really seeing the creature, and I'm like, and the creature doesn't have to be there. You just have to pretend like the creature's coming out of that thing. You
Because
know,
that's what the story is.
yeah, it's just so simple, and that's why kids are really good actors because they're just like, oh yeah, like there's the like that thing, and they can like imagine and stuff. Adults make it all complicated and shit, and it's like it's really not that hard. You're just
They start talking about Lee Strasberg and
yeah, what the fuck, like, and also, and you said some stuff about like going to acting school. 100% for me, man. I turned into a worse actor from
yeah,
going. Hope Syracuse is listening. Like from when I started and when I finished.
yeah. I mean, they can't make it as simple as that. And I think a good coach, good teacher can make stuff really simple and reach everyone. Nick Saban, the Alabama football coach, says he reads every bit of psychology so that he figures out how to reach every single player, even the ones that are super difficult to work with, whatever. And I think a good acting coach should be the same type of thing. They should figure out how to make whoever they're dealing with better, especially if someone's paying a lot of money.
100%. I want to shift a little bit. I've got one foot firmly in like this indie space of like YouTube and getting views and all that shit. I've also got one foot firmly in the traditional Hollywood. Let's build up projects and package things. We've talked a little behind the scenes about specifics. I have one more person attached that's a specific that I can't hear. Yeah. But
I have two on the movie.
So I have two. I really need one more, and that's like the main lead. And I'm not sure quite how to go about it. And I've started reaching out to people, gotten some rejections, it's all good. But what I've realized is, bro, Hollywood is so like traditional Hollywood is so risk averse because the moment that like they want to really be able to hedge their bets, the moment that I'm getting like millions of views on my stuff and that whatever, like that's when I'm going to start getting more green lights. But it's like you need a proven track record of certain things that you're bringing to the table where they can be, or you have a certain person attached to your project and that gives it like value. Yeah. But no one wants to take like everyone, bro, it's across the board. Managers, agents, actors jumping onto projects. And it's so stupid because the thing is like people don't know what's going to hit. I understand like you want to hedge your bets and you want to only go on projects that have like proven trackers and all that stuff. But obviously, I mean, you see stuff like Futuroso. What was that movie that just came out that flopped?
Futurama?
I don't think so. The Mad Max one. You know what I'm talking about.
That flopped? The new Mad Max with Liam Hemsworth and stuff?
Flopped.
Whoa.
And that it was probably what, like 200 mil? And so it's like that
biggest director, biggest actors, and it's a proven franchise already.
So that's like the most traditional Hollywood build-up project you can have, right? And it's not working. But that's how I feel like it's always going to be. And I get it. I get that that's the game. But it really feels like a club. It's like this exclusive.
I don't necessarily know if that's always how it's going to be, but yeah.
Well, but if it's like this exclusive club where everyone in the club is just like scared shitless that they're going to make a wrong move, because the way it feels is like you're only as good as your last thing, and like how well you're doing, how well you, and the whole track record is disregarded. So I'm getting that sense from a lot. People are just really risk averse. So I get that
Or
it's
to take a chance on the first
responsibility.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just on me to get shit moving, get projects finished, and then eventually people will jump on the bandwagon, and then it'll grow into this bigger thing.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
just this stage is just like, it's almost funny at this point. Just me, the outreach that I've done, the types of responses I get back, just seeing it like, from like a
Well, look, man, that's fascinating. I mean, yeah, I think this is, I want to say the toughest stage, but there were
Yeah.
stages before that too that were really tough. But I mean, just getting that first thing done that's in the system is really, really just, is what people can't get over that hurdle. But
Yeah.
the fact that you got a big leading actor, and now it sounds like on some level a second one. I don't know if it's bigger or less big or whatever, but
It's less, but
that
it's like it's like dream package for me. I'm like, this when this thing goes off the ground, it's like it's the people I envision for these roles. You know what I mean? So now it's just a matter of it's basically a lead actress that I need to sink the deal, finish the whole thing. And so I'm
and the,
thinking about I'm making lists and all that kind of stuff.
already though, just to get 2 stars signed on with no rep, and it's your first, like, I don't know, I don't want to say your first feature, but your first feature that's like you're trying to do kind of by the books or in the system. It's definitely a hurdle.
Thanks,
You're
man.
doing.
The whole rep thing is really funny to me too, because it's like, bro, everyone's gonna jump on as soon as there's money in play and like a deal is
Yeah.
it. It's like, you know, I'm so ready. I'm so past the point of I've had reps tell me that it's time to get a rep. I'm like, like, but it's
Yeah.
just people are just waiting for there to be like a solid thing in play where they can take their commission and then we're off to the races. So the whole thing is
Funny.
like a catch 22.
Back to that point that I made when I was like, what does anyone really know? Uh, I talked to my mom about that like this week too, and because I was like, they give me great compliments, but what do they know? Um, it brought me back to like listening to agents and managers when I was like first seeking them and stuff, like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and like, dude, these people were so convicted about what they were saying about this, that they were so like, they loved just acting like what they were saying was like, like they were just walking on water type thing. And it turned out they were so wrong. They're so wrong, and they didn't deserve any real respect. And I gave too much to them, as does everyone. And it's because of that they're kind of compensating and trying to act like big shots. What the entire industry is made up of. So you can't be of it. You got to, even when you make it, like we've talked about, like you can't be like, oh, now it's my turn to like make it worse or be flashier, this or that. You just gotta be the silent assassin that's better than the rest, because the rest it's got everyone in there, all
Yeah,
the
man. I mean, even on like not even thinking about agents or managers or actors, even on the suit side, like on at the networks and the streamers and stuff. Because I'm getting meetings with people where like I'll just do cold outreaches where I'm like, I want to talk about this stuff. I let them know what's going on, what I'm setting up, all that kind of stuff. And they're like, we can meet to like kind of like pick your brain type thing, but we can't really greenlight anything that's external. And it's like, there's like a whole way of going about it. But then eventually, if you play your cards right, maybe they'll read something and then maybe they'll pass it along. It's like it's a whole game. You can't be direct about it.
game.
It's going through the back door at every single stage.
It is. Yeah, you gotta have some good patience. It's astonishing. Anyway, that sounds good though. Like you got some stuff going on with that.
Yeah, man.
I love how for the longest time you were like so caught up in like, am I doing the shorts thing? Am I doing a feature? Am I doing producing? Am I doing all this stuff? And like now it's just like a happy medium. Of course, it's where I've always been at, or since we've talked. You're doing a little bit of it all because it all sort of informs each other and help, it'll lead to the same success. So I
Exactly.
love doing the shorts and making this feature, and it's all going well.
Yeah, you're just doing yourself a disservice if you only bark up one side of the tree. If you got
People
both,
disagree on that though. People disagree. And you like Jerry Seinfeld said, be good at only one thing and only do that one thing. Someone just told me, the director of this movie he's like, dude, you're gonna be a star after this thing. I'm telling you, like people are gonna and you're gonna have to choose what path you want to go on in the entertainment industry. You're gonna have to be either in drama and they're gonna want to do action films for you. They're gonna want to do big action films. And you're gonna have to decide if you want to do that because it'll be easy, or are you gonna want to do like interesting, like smaller stuff, or comedy? Like they're gonna want you for comedy. I'm thinking. I literally told him that my response was like, "Sounds like a good problem to have."
this
Oh,
guy
funny,
sounds
dude.
hilarious. Oh man.
Oh, dude. Very funny.
So next, bro, your reps are probably stoked about this thing, and then the Fatal Fixer Upper thing that you had before. Do you feel like there's like, because you got stuff moving, man? I mean, you're shooting, you got stuff releasing. Do you feel like there's like a difference or any kind of shift?
It's a good point. I don't know about on the action aspect, the fact that like I have stuff. I mean, I don't. My reps know I'm from a Hollywood family, and they've seen me come up with stuff. Like I had a headline in the trades when I had my pilot Duke of the Valley. It was like Duke Van Patten does this, like they didn't know if I was going to be a star the next day or what. And my manager, at Luber Oakland goes to the Calabasas Pickleball Club, and she saw my poster, just like meet your pickleball pro Duke. So like she's trying to get her son.
You're everywhere.
What?
She can't avoid
I'm
you.
everywhere.
You're everywhere.
Well, also like, so my point is like, yeah, they're fantastic and they're pushing for me. It seems like to me, and but they probably think like it's kind of up to me. Like, if I'm gonna get a connect to one of these big things, like we'll see.
And you know what, man? That's how it always is. Like you can have reps, you can have the best reps in the world. You got to be working your own list. You got to be doing your own thing. And it's always, even though I know this isn't the case, I still have it in the back of my mind where I'm like, once I get the reps, man, everything's going to fall into place, blah, 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 open doors. Yes, some doors are going to be open. Yeah, I'll have some talent respond more than they are now. But it's like, it's all up to you at the end of the day. You're an entrepreneur.
You're an entrepreneur, precisely. By the way, our titles for these episodes have been so damn funny. Tonight, an entrepreneur. Might as well be that. What would the title for this one be?
Yeah, let's come up with that. Let's brainstorm for the last minute. So we hit.
You're an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur, comma, Harry. I'm Harry Potter. Oh, you're a wizard, Harry. Our audience isn't on my wit level, are they? Or Harry Potter knowledge level. But
Canadian now, something like that. But bro, congrats.
Canadian now. I'm in. That's my vote.
Congrats on rapping though, bro. And welcome back. And we got to get together too. I'm on summer vacation, so I got
there you go. When you come to town?
I'm there probably like every weekend, every other weekend. So let's make something happen.
Well, I can't see you on the weekends. I know that. So
Oh, for
real? No, I'm kidding.
Are you
All right, bro.
or where?
I'm Santa Monica, dude.
Santa Monica now. Yeah.
All right, we'll talk. All right. Much love, brother. Have a great one.
Man, good seeing you. Bye.